Welcome back to my channel Iraqi Dinar RV. Can 25,000 Iraqi dinars in 2020 really turn into $1 million? Exploring the possibilities. Have you ever considered the idea that a relatively small foreign currency investment could one day yield a life-changing return? In 2020, that question is being asked more often, especially about the Iraqi dinar. What if owning just 25,000 IQD today could eventually be worth hundreds of thousands, or even $1 million? It may sound far-fetched at first, but once you understand Iraq's economic trajectory, currency reform plans, and increasing global interest, the picture becomes much clearer. In this article, we'll walk through why the Iraqi dinar is attracting so much attention, what's happening inside Iraq that's fueling this momentum, and how small investors could benefit if the right conditions align. Iraq, in 2025, a country on the rise. Iraq's past has been turbulent, but the future is starting to look much more promising. After years of instability, the country is now entering a new phase defined by reconstruction, reform, and international cooperation. The Central Bank of Iraq has been implementing strategies to align the nation's financial systems with global standards, a necessary step toward global currency integration. What does that mean for the dinar? For Iraq to participate effectively in the global financial market, its currency needs to reflect international norms. That includes having an exchange rate that accurately mirrors the country's economic value and market confidence. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's part of Iraq's path toward full compliance with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and other global financial institutions. Why the Iraqi dinar holds potential. Right now, 25,000 Iraqi dinars may not seem valuable in US dollar terms. But consider what would happen if Iraq revalued its currency, or allowed it to float freely on global markets. A significant appreciation could turn a modest dinar holding into something far more substantial. Let's run some simple numbers. If the dinar were to appreciate so that one IQD equaled just $0 to USD, then 25,000 IQD would be worth $2,500. If it rose to $1 per dinar, that would turn into 25,000. And if the value climbed as high as $40 per dinar, like some highly optimistic predictions suggest, that would make 25,000 IQD worth $1 million. While some might call this speculation, it's rooted in the idea that Iraq is following a path similar to other oil-rich nations, like Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, whose strong economies and currencies were built on oil revenues and financial discipline. Oil. Iraq's economic powerhouse. Iraq owns the fifth-largest proven oil reserves in the world, making oil the cornerstone of its economic strength. With energy prices on the rise globally and supply uncertainty elsewhere, Iraq stands to gain significantly from increased oil revenues. Higher oil profits mean more cash flowing into Iraq's reserves and a stronger ability to stabilize its currency. We've seen this pattern with other energy-rich nations. When their exports and revenues grow, their currencies often gain value accordingly. Iraq is now at the beginning of this trend, and the benefits could be massive if the country continues managing its resources responsibly. Economic reforms are underway. Oil isn't Iraq's only path to prosperity. The government has embarked on a wide-ranging reform program aimed at rebuilding infrastructure, upgrading utilities, strengthening the financial system, and encouraging foreign investment. These efforts may not always grab headlines, but they're laying a solid foundation for long-term stability and growth. By meeting international benchmarks and improving internal governance, Iraq is increasing investor confidence. That could translate into a stronger, more reliable currency over time, and possibly one that's recognized and traded internationally. The role of tourism in Iraq's growth. It may surprise you, but tourism is starting to make a comeback in Iraq. From the ancient ruins of Babylon To the revered religious sites in Karbala and Najaf, Iraq has a rich historical and spiritual legacy. As the security situation improves and infrastructure is restored, more travelers are returning to the region. A growing tourism sector brings foreign money into the economy, creates jobs, and stimulates demand for local businesses, all factors that help support a stronger currency. If Iraq capitalizes on this potential, tourism could become another key driver of economic expansion and dinar appreciation. What makes 25,000 IQD an interesting bet? Given all these trends, 25,000 dinars might not be just a collector's item or speculative purchase. It could represent a strategic entry point into a currency with long-term upside potential. The cost of acquisition remains low, making it accessible even for modest investors. As reforms progress and confidence builds, any movement in exchange rates could significantly amplify the value of that small, initial investment. Understanding internal versus international exchange rates. Some skeptics point to Iraq's internal currency sales, or black market fluctuations, as reasons to dismiss the idea of a revaluation. But it's important to understand the difference between local currency activity and official international exchange rates. The latter is what truly matters to foreign investors, and what would ultimately determine the real market value of the dinar. Iraq's government and central bank have made it clear they are moving toward full integration with international financial systems. This means that eventually, the dinar's official exchange rate must reflect global demand, not just internal policy. That's why seasoned investors are paying close attention right now. Foreign investment is pouring in. In 2020, Iraq is seeing increasing interest from global companies, particularly in energy, infrastructure, and technology. Firms from the United States, Europe, China, and the Gulf region are entering joint ventures, signing new deals, and establishing operations inside the country. These investments bring in foreign currency, create employment opportunities, and require the conversion of dollars or euros into Iraqi dinars, all of which can push demand and value for the IQD upward. The more business that's done in Iraq, the more pressure there is for a stable and stronger local currency. Digital innovation adds more fuel. Another under-the-radar development is Iraq's digital transformation. The country is making serious efforts to modernize its banking systems, promote mobile payments, and support fintech startups. This shift toward digital finance not only increases efficiency and transparency, but also builds the kind of infrastructure that global markets trust. A transparent and technologically advanced financial system gives foreign investors more confidence in doing business and more trust in Iraq's currency. A simple investor's journey. Picture this. A young investor hears about the potential of the dinar in 2020 and decides to buy 25,000 IQD, while the price is low. Over the next couple of years, Iraq signs major oil contracts, boosts tourism, and completes key reforms. Suddenly, the dinar is revalued. That small investment, once worth just a few dollars, is now worth thousands, or even more. This isn't just a dream. It's how opportunity works in emerging markets. The key is doing your research, acting early, and having the patience to wait for things to unfold. Final thoughts. Could this be the investment of a lifetime? There are no guarantees in currency investing, but what makes the Iraqi dinar intriguing is the combination of massive economic potential, rising oil income, a reform-driven government, and increased international attention. These are all signals that the value of Iraq's currency could rise, maybe dramatically, in the coming years. So can 25,000 Iraqi dinars in 2020 really make you a millionaire? It's not certain, but it's within the realm of possibility if Iraq follows through on its economic transformation and the dinar rises as many expect. With the right approach and informed decision-making, this small investment could lead to major rewards. If you're watching Iraq closely, building your knowledge, and staying patient, this could be a once-in-a-generation opportunity.